Ready to rock?
Ready to rock.
Folks, we got a special one here today. Been thinking about doing this one for a while, and my friend and mentor Oscar was able to get me in connection with these two lovely folks, and we're going to talk about some pretty important things today. But will the both of you please introduce yourself, and we'll go from there.
All right. I'm Jake. I'm 14. From Pembroke Pines, Florida. Heck yeah. Two-time cancer survivor. First time a tumor, Ewing sarcoma stage 3. Second time was B-cell leukemia. So I'm good now.
Excellent.
And I'm recovering quickly. I'm recovering swiftly. And I'm living my life to the best I could live it.
Yeah, buddy. What about mom?
And I am Marisel. I am the proud mom of Jake. And I am a teacher, mom of 4. He is my oldest. And like he said, he's battled cancer twice. First time at the age of 8. He had a tumor growing behind his left eye. And it turns out we were misdiagnosed. We were diagnosed with rhabdomyosarcoma. And then after further pathology test, we were re-diagnosed with Ewing sarcoma, stage 3. So that means we have to move quickly. So he was sent to the OR, port placement, and that same night we started chemo. And so, a lot of people are under the misconception that once you ring the bell, that's it, it's over and clean slate, but that's not the case. Mm-hmm. As soon as you ring the bell, I like to think of it more like end of that chapter. Let's start the next chapter. And so, there's life during treatment, and then there's life after treatment.
There's many bells to be rung.
Many chapters.
Talk about what ringing the bell means. Like, what is that milestone? Because Oscar's told me about it.
So ringing the bell means essentially you're off of chemotherapy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a milestone, and it's definitely well celebrated.
And the cancer is gone, supposedly. But no, it's side effects. The side effects are still there, kind of, in a way. You have like a recovery, let's say how you deal with it, the psychological effects.
Mm-hmm.
You have all of that still there.
So while that is a moment of celebration and a milestone, after the bell ringing, we start the new chapter, post-treatment. And so that's a chapter where I think kids that have gone through treatment are a little more lax. But for the parents, at least I speak for myself, it's a moment of anxiety all the time. There are moments where I literally have to stop what I'm doing and try to just shift my mindset, because I think of what if, and, should we get to the scans sooner? Because, the thing with cancer is the sooner you get on it, the better chance you have of beating it. And sure. So after you ring the bell, you get your scans and blood work pretty repeatedly every 3 months to make sure that the cancer is gone. And then you graduate to every 6 months. And that's where we were at, every 6 months. And when you reach year 5, you're considered a survivor. Well, Jake is just a few months shy of being year 5, but in our heads already, we were like, you've survived this. This is fine.
Yep.
And then we get hit where he becomes very sick in January of this year, very sick. Yep. And I attributed that to he was gone to an Air Force encampment for Civil Air Patrol. And I just thought he was, since he's not used to working out, that he was just overworked.
Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah. So I thought he was just physically drained.
Yeah, I did notice at the time, I didn't know, but leukemia sores.
Yeah, he did have rashes, and we thought he's outdoors.
They were leukemia sores, though, on my legs, mostly.
Mm-hmm.
Some on my chest, right?
Like little red bumps.
Yeah.
Okay.
Red and purple.
Easy to mistake, though, is something else, I'm sure.
Oh, for sure. And especially with him being in an outside environment, he's essentially out in the woods. And so we thought it was just a rash from something. He comes home, and he is a very affectionate boy. And he walked in through the door, and he just wanted to go lay in bed. He didn't even stop to hug me or kiss me. So I knew something was off still. Never even thought that it was cancer. I gave him some medication. I told him to go to sleep. And in the morning, we'd go to urgent care. But when he woke up, he was in a puddle of sweat, still with a fever. It didn't look good. And so I opted to, well, we did go to urgent care, and then we just went to the emergency room. And from there, just like the first time, it's more than a snowball effect. It's an avalanche all of a sudden that you weren't expecting. And so we get taken by ambulance to Holt's Children in Miami, which is where he was treated the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where our people are at. And through that Holt's Children and that connection there is where I meet Oscar and Rose and become very involved with the foundation. And so after, several tests, they tell us that he has treatment-induced B-cell ALL. So it's leukemia that was caused because of the treatments that saved his life the first time. So it is, Jake, such a double-edged sword. You want to treat your child, and you as a parent could understand how, you give everything and anything for your child, and it's a moment of helplessness because you know that chemotherapy is detrimental, but you also know that that's the key to killing the cancer. And so here we go again. So the chemo that saved him, we have to give him chemo again to save him again.
That's why we got to spread funds. So,
that's why we need this research.
Treatment,
Yeah, the treatment is antiquated. It's no good.
The adults are getting all the advancements too. Mm-hmm. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Because the money is in the adult side of, in the adult side of cancer. That's
right.
That's where you have the most customers.
Yeah, right. The most customers, because childhood cancer is still rare.
Right.
Yeah, I see it as children are the future of this nation. They're the future of this world.
My guy.
So you have to work harder to save their lives.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's an investment in the future.
Yourself, but you have to work a bit harder to save them.
Yeah,
they're young.
For sure.
They could be future politicians. They could be doctors.
Future researchers.
They could develop the cure in the future.
Yeah. And so, sadly, a few months into treatment, the doctors, the medical team met with me and said that the chemo was not working. He was not responding to chemo. Another moment of just, torture for me as a mom. So what's next here? And so they determined that the best option for Jake would be a bone marrow transplant.
Right.
And so now the challenge is, let's find a bone marrow that's compatible with his. And so all of the siblings tested, and Justin, who's my wild child, was a 10 out of 10 match, which
unreal.
It's miraculous, because even within siblings, his sister was 3 out of 10. So even with siblings,
this close to death, and then Justin saved my life.
Yeah. So this is what we needed. This is what we need him to move him forward, and to start the road to recovery. And so Justin tested 10 out of 10, and from there we just went forward with stopping the chemo. We did some immunotherapy for him to boost his immunity. And then we started the workup for bone marrow, which is a lot. The workup for bone marrow transplant requires, if you think of it like a cell phone, when you have to reset your cell phone, that's essentially what you're doing with your body. You have to wipe everything out. So he's receiving high dose of chemo. He's receiving full body radiation to wipe him out completely, which puts him at jeopardy. Imagine any bacteria could be detrimental and fatal. Mm-hmm. So during this time, we're in the bone marrow unit where everything has to be just, we have to be very careful and make sure that everything is sanitized and no one comes close to Jake. Everybody has to be masked. And it's 10 days of brutal chemotherapy, 8 days of radiation, full body radiation, to get his body prepared for the transplant.
All before the transplant.
So actually, prior to this interview, prior to her talking about it, I actually did not know that the chemo didn't work. You didn't tell me.
I may have told you that you weren't. Not that it wasn't working. You weren't responding as well as they would.
Yeah,
they would have hoped.
I did not know that.
Wow. One of the questions I have, and I do want to get a little bit further into the story, of course, of, what happens during the bone marrow transplant, because Oscar, this was as we were gearing up for 2025 Kayak and the Keys for Hope, Oscar shared the story and why we weren't going to see you guys this year, as far as, what you were going through. And so that was sort of the, how do you say it? The level set going in to the paddle this year was what you guys were going through. But one of the things I'm curious about from both of your perspectives, same question for you both. What was the initial reaction to diagnosis number 1? And then how did that differ from number 2?
I'll let him speak,
Okay.
and then I'll speak.
Okay, so first diagnosis.
How old are you?
I was 8.
Okay,
I was
yeah.
clueless. Okay. I was 8. I was clueless. I really didn't know what that meant for me. Didn't really know what was in it for me. Pretty much the whole treatment, I didn't really know what was going on, right? So the first question I asked was, because that's all I knew, am I going to lose my hair?
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
That's adorable.
Mm-hmm.
I did have my moments of suffering, but
Of course
I'm a child, so those were like easily,
Yeah.
overcome. But now
So
as
from
a
your perspective, you felt it was easy. You were able to kind of take it in stride.
yeah.
Dang.
Because I was a child. I
Of
was
course.
like innocent, I didn't know.
And I was able to shelter him a lot more
Yeah.
when he was 8.
Mom could say like, this is just this instead of,
Mm-hmm.
and
And what about now?
yeah. Now as a teenager,
Yeah. So January.
since I'm more conscious, it was
Right,
a little
literally.
more traumatic.
And way smarter.
Yeah, way smarter.
And access to the internet.
Know my stuff. It was a lot harder. So I initially asked, my first question was, what's the survival rate?
Fair
Luckily,
question.
they gave me 90% rate,
Mhm.
90% survival rate.
Yeah, you asked if you were gonna
Thank
die. What's your survivor rate?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was rough. So from a parent's perspective,
And I asked, am I going to go back to school?
oh yeah.
Yeah.
He was very concerned with the social aspect of it,
Yeah, you don't want to miss out.
because here they're saying you're going to be completely isolated. He was finishing 8th grade, going into his first year of high school.
That makes sense.
He's had to do from home, so that has been terrible for him. Luckily, we have a wonderful psychologist, Dr. Cotto, who has helped him work through his feelings, but it's been really rough. I would say this time around, really rough mentally than it was when he was 8. When he was 8, I was able to shelter him and keep him entertained as much as possible, where he wasn't really missing home as much. Also in the hospital when he was 8, prior to COVID, they provided so many activities and it kept the kids occupied. There were so many volunteers that would come and game and do art and crafts. And so that provided, his mind to be occupied. Fast forward to being the mom of a teen with cancer, and that's 1,000 times harder because he's cognizant of the disease, especially because we are advocates of childhood cancer awareness, and so we've been so involved and we've learned so much, and he's very aware. So as a teen, it's hit him harder. He has access to the internet, so he asks questions. Although I will say that he's a good advocate. When the doctors come in, when the medical team comes in, he asks many questions. But they leave, and I guess questions linger, and he'll go online and he'll search for answers. And the thing with many illnesses, but especially leukemia, is that it's broad. And so some of the things may not apply to Jake's case.
Right.
And so, I had to make it a point to point that out. I had to make it a point to remind him, this might not be what happens to you. Let's ask, our doctors when they come back in. So harder in the sense, both times physically hard, mentally hard. I would say this time around, it still is. Yesterday, he asked me how many more days until winter break, because winter break is when, we'll see if the medical team gives him the clearance to go back to school for second semester. So
gotcha.
We're counting on his immunity to be better. And then, of course, he goes back to school still with precaution, masks, hand sanitizer, because we have to keep him safe.
Right.
His baby, I call it a baby immunity that he has now. Justin's immunity is similar to your newborn daughter's.
Yeah.
So you
Still
have to give,
improving, still getting better.
yeah, you have to give it time, to get better, to grow. And then one thing with chemo is that it wipes out all your immunizations. It happened the first time, so he had to get all the immunizations you get as a young child. Yeah.
So revaccinated for everything.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Really? I did not know that. That's an interesting
Yes,
fact.
because
Huh.
yes, the chemo kills everything in your body, right?
Wow.
So the
Yeah,
first
yeah.
time around, he wasn't happy. I think it was 2020, end of 2020, yeah, where we had to get revaccinated on schedule as well, just like you would a small child. And so this time around, same thing. We have to get him revaccinated. So it's scary to send him out. It's scary to send him to high school. Some parents might have the option to not vaccinate their children. So um, that's that's a concern for me,
Of
sending
course.
Jake out to high school. So I'm really counting on, he's really good about masking up and keeping his distance. So that's a concern as a parent. I'm sending him out into here. I have him in a bubble. I have, the hand sanitizer and masks are at the door.
Hmm.
We sadly have had no visitation other than just immediate family, because we have to keep them
Like
safe.
close family friends like
Yeah,
Sylvia.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Oscar came
Yeah.
by.
It's like close family
And people,
friends.
yes, and people that
family.
know that this is how it is.
This
We
is
have
the
to be
life.
masked. We have to, yeah, and people that I know that if they felt sick,
I've been begging to have
Yeah.
my friends visit.
I'm
And
sure
she
you
said-
have.
and we will.
Yeah, she
we
said-
will have we
Yeah.
will have interactions. I promise. It's just really hard to have a kid. Essentially, he hasn't been with his friends. He's seen them here and there, but since January, he's been isolated. That's a lot. That's a lot for a teen.
And like they're always busy, so I can't text or call them because they're always doing something. So
Mhm.
Sure. That makes
So,
sense.
but Jake is truly the definition of when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade,
Gotta be.
and
no,
so
I am the lemonade.
you are the lemonade, and
I
so
love it. I am the lemonade. Get that on the shirt. That's awesome.
yeah. So Jake has made a group of friends that are also bone marrow transplant patients, and they call themselves the BMT boys.
I'm so
And
down.
so at the hospital, they would hang out at a safe distance, but they would hang out. They had walkie-talkies, so it was amazing.
That's sweet.
They had walkie-talkies. They'd play, and here at clinic, because they're all out of the hospital, thankfully, and so now at clinic, their appointments coincide, and so sometimes the clinic will have a social hour or a social event for them. 2 weeks ago, it was Chick-fil-A, and they did pie and face, and they'll have games that they can, so at least that social aspect, I think the medical field is very well aware that has to be part of the protocol. When a parent is when a parent is given their child's diagnosis, you have so many people on the medical team. You have, of course, the
And you have the
oncologist.
moms. You have the other parents to connect with too.
Yeah, you have the oncologist, you have the radiologist, you have the nurses, you have the pharmacist, but who you don't have is the psychologist, and that has to change. You have mental health. Mental health has to be just as important of a treatment as the chemo.
Dr. Koto, certainly.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah,
she's been awesome.
She fixed that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Had a lot of questions. She answered them.
Mm-hmm. And this time around, I made sure that, we had Dr. Koto with us to help Jake and myself also to help us navigate this. Because for me as well, it was, everybody's like, you've done this before. Yes, I have. But Jake at 8 and Jake at 14 are two different Jakes. And as well, a tumor cancer is different from a blood cancer.
Yeah.
Right.
So there was that. Yeah. So there was that. So yes, I knew the hospital stays, the clinics. Yes, I got that covered. But, it's two different worlds under the same umbrella, but really two different worlds. Most obvious is definitely the age.
Yeah.
A child that's younger is easier for mom to sugarcoat things and make things sound less scary. You have Jake, who is super smart and asks a lot of questions, and he got anxieties to the point where he had to be medicated, right? And so now we are off of the medication, but
anxiety definitely got better.
It's gotten a lot better. Incredible. But at the beginning, he was, he was open to the medication to help take the edge off.
Please,
And me
yeah.
as well. And me as well. I had to get on medication as well because the anxiety is just, it's overwhelming. It's overwhelming. And for me, not only am I Jake's mom, but I have other children too.
Oh
And
yeah.
of course, my main focus was him, and luckily we had help with the other kids, but still your mind is, as a parent, your mind is with all your kids.
And I'm sure like all the other kids feel left out too, because like
Yeah.
their mom's paying attention to me and not them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the sibling component, which is why,
That's
the
tough.
kayaking for the keys is so nice because we're there as a family,
Yep.
right? And
Yeah.
it's something, outside of the cancer world.
And we all
Right.
get to participate,
Mhm.
because
Yeah,
like
you get to participate, other kids, other families,
pool.
But
Some events are like strictly for like cancer patients, either that or adults, but I just happen to be the exception.
Mhm.
Gala
The
reference.
gala, yeah.
But this one actually includes like the siblings, so that's good. That's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to have like a family activity where everyone can come together and just
Because
hang out.
the siblings are just as affected.
Mhm.
They're just as affected by your cancer.
Yeah, cancer is not just, the child. It's a ripple,
It can either break families or unite them.
it affects
For us,
everyone.
it united them. For us, it united us.
Beautiful. I love to hear that. What, this is going to kind of be a bit of a personal question, but,
Yeah.
you mentioned, I appreciate it. You mentioned how, by seeing a psychologist, you were sort of able to work through some of the anxiety and, I don't know if you would call it, see the brighter side of things. What was it that you felt the psychologist was able to accomplish? Like, what was the perspective shift for both of you that allowed you to see greener pastures?
You want to start?
I think, well, for me, I don't know, because when he's with the psychologist, it's just him and her.
Right.
So I don't know what strategies she's given him to help. But, I've noticed a difference. With me, for me, she has been for me a soundboard where I can vent. And that's been so incredibly helpful. Because a lot of times I feel like parents just hold on to feelings and just keep going, and that's not healthy. So it's good to have someone that's non-judgmental, that will listen to you. I've come to her to, I guess, vent, because there's no other way of saying it. Vent. How do I balance this? How do I care for him when I have this going on in my household? I also had a moment where I needed her to speak to Justin. To speak to Justin. So Justin did a few therapy sessions as well. So just having someone to listen and provide comfort and provide strategies that maybe you're too consumed in treatment to realize or to see has been wonderful. And I feel that she's definitely helped Jake navigate. By default, 14-year-old boys have so much going on. I feel like it's a transitional age. I feel like
Usually.
yeah. So aside from the cancer, he had other things in his mind, and now you put this layer on top of that. And so I think he was definitely feeling overwhelmed by all of the feelings. And so Dr. Cotto has helped him sort out those feelings and to see, I think the best thing that she's done for Jake is try not to worry about things that you can't control, because you're wasting precious time right now. Try and live in the now, because he would be worried, but and what if and what about this and what. She's like, no, bring it back to the present, right? And focus, and don't waste the time right now worrying about what if this is going to happen in the future. So bringing him back to absorb what's happening now, and that now you're happy and now you're okay and we're better than we were a few days ago.
Yes.
With the in the bone marrow transplant world, our days are +1, +2, +3. You count from your second birthday on And so there's milestones there too. When you get to the first 30 days, the first 90 days, the first one, and so Jake has always been like, even now this morning or last night, when is it going to be winter break? When is it going to be winter break? Um,
Right.
I find myself to be like a future thinker.
yeah. So he worries so much about what's going to happen. And am I going to be able to join
I don't think that's a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing, but it consumes your time right now, right? It consumes your time right now, or you can be doing something else. You can be building your Legos or playing, your video games, and you're wasting time. Not wasting time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Reminds me of the Hamilton musical.
But
he's a future thinker.
He's a future thinker.
Hamilton.
Hamilton, yeah, he's really.
Right, keep going.
Yeah. So you have to sometimes bring, and I do that too, and I'm sure you do too, Jake. Sometimes you kind of just have to redirect your thinking.
Yeah.
Because your mind, goes everywhere, or so you have to refocus.
If I do this, if I do that.
It's hard not to wish time away sometimes, where you're like, oh, I just want to get here. And I wish I could just teleport into the future, and be there. But yeah, that's something I have to remind myself sometimes. I'm like, don't wish time away. Don't wish time away.
We all do at some point in time, And going back to what I was saying, the plus days we had in the hospital, we had a calendar, and so it was a nice visual to see. Yeah, it shows that you still have a lot of plus days ahead, but it also shows all the plus days that you've already been through. Which seemed like, when we were in the single numbers, the single digits, it seemed almost impossible. Like, how am I going to get here to day 30, or how am I going to get to day 90, which was a big one. And then we get to day 90 and he's like, we're on day 90,
If I'm being honest here though, like, I've always been like on that calendar, I've always been looking at the future dates and counting how many days that is.
Yeah, because you're looking forward to something. Yeah. So he's looking forward to going back to school.
How many days to my freedom?
He's looking forward to, and his friends.
Yes.
Yeah, his friends will show him, what they're doing. So, Jake loves history. And so the friends will show him what he's doing in history. And Jake's like, oh my gosh, I know that, and wishing that he could be in that class, and wishing that he can be in the clubs at the high school. And he will. And one of our doctors, in fact, said that the closer we get to winter break, the school and the oncologist can discuss maybe him going for lunch and one class, and so kind of gradually getting him into high school, rather than just throwing him there the first day. So I think that'll be nice, at least even if you can go for lunch, just to get that whole social aspect and get to know the school. Yeah. The school's huge. The school's really big.
How many people in the graduating class do you think?
I don't know, but I know it's one of the largest schools we have here in Broward.
Wow. So it's got to be huge.
It's huge. It's huge. It's a beautiful school. It's relatively
beautiful
new.
Campus.
It's really nice. And they have a lot of, I think they're called career readiness courses, to where I know they have a big one for veterinarian medicine. So if you want to do, they have healthcare, which he's interested in. They have JROTC, which is huge. They have education. Yeah. So the education component at the school, the teachers that work there, and teachers in neighboring schools bring their little ones there, and so they have a preschool on campus.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah, and the high school kids are the ones that take care of
that's great. I love that. That's some real experience.
Yeah.
What program?
That's the education program. And so they have a little preschool there.
I want to take care of the little kids.
Yeah, but maybe you like the next one. And then the next one is dogs. And so they'll bring their dogs there, and the kids are better than dogs.
Certainly.
So they'll bring the faculty and staff will bring their dogs there. They have on the weekends they do fundraisers too. They do like dog washes. Yeah, super cool. So the school is awesome. So I know he's excited about going there, but every day that passes
with that daycare program,
every day that passes is a day closer to.
Does it count as volunteer hours?
No, that's outside of school. But volunteer hours, we know where you're going to do your volunteer hours.
Civil Air Patrol
and Sebastian Strong.
Yeah. That's pretty baked in, I'm sure. Mindset, Jake. I saw in one of your posts that you were reading some Jocko Willink books that can do wonders for mindset. What is your mindset like? Like, what are you thinking about in terms of persevering? You've been through a lot. One of the things that Oscar said when he was telling us what you were going through back in, this would have been April before we did
Mm-hmm.
paddle, they were going to put your IV or whatever, your chemo
Line.
treatment, in the opposite arm or in the same arm, but you said
Yes.
do it in the other so
Mm-hmm.
that people know you beat cancer twice. And
Yeah.
when
Well,
Oscar
yeah.
when Oscar said that, I was like, my jaw hit the floor. I'm like, what an
Oh,
epic one-liner.
yeah.
That is
So
so
wait.
good.
Yeah. So the
So
pick. So this.
first pick or second pick line,
Okay.
right? And then we have the first pick line here.
So that's the scar. But I think here you wanna. So this is the
Second.
port. This is his
Okay.
active port,
Uh-huh.
and then this is his port when he was 8. So he
Yes.
wanted to have
Yes.
the port. So he wanted to have one on each side because the surgeon said we can go in through that same scar. He goes, no. I want people to know that I beat cancer twice, and so he did it on the opposite
Kicked its
side.
ass twice.
Goosebumps.
Yeah.
I have goosebumps. I've got a long sleeve shirt on, but I got goosebumps. That's incredible. So, even though you were probably crushed to a certain degree to hear, since you, like you said, you're more conscious, what's going on, what it means, you still got a little bit of confidence. So talk to me about that mindset, man.
Yeah. So I'm being 100% transparent. I have my doubts.
Of course.
I certainly have fear, like any other normal person,
Yeah.
Yeah, I fear death, but like not as much because cancer kind of hardened me. So it's sad to say, but I'm being 100% honest. I don't fear death as much anymore. And it's not necessarily a good thing, I'd say, but it's definitely took a big toll on me. Well, it has prompted me to live more fearlessly. So, and then in terms of positive mindset,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Civil Air Patrol has helped me with that. So in encampment, we had this thing called warrior spirit,
Yes.
where we lived by a few principles, and that really got me through it. Like courage, resilience, strength, integrity, all that stuff.
Some guiding
So
principles to fall back
yeah,
on.
Mm-hmm.
the warrior spirit, warrior mindset. That's what they called it in encampment.
And it's perfect because I call you my warrior.
Yeah, well, I'd say it's a title well earned. That's incredible. When you think about your future, what do you think about? I mean, your ability to see the silver lining in your treatment and in your transplant and all that is next level. So talk to me about the future.
Yeah, so there's gonna be a lot of things I can't do.
Right.
There's gonna be I'm not gonna make it all sunshine and rainbows.
Good.
I'm not I'm not the type of person to hide the truth from people. I'm not gonna be able to do a lot of things. I'm not probably not gonna be able to join the military, which was one of my biggest dreams. But there's ways around that. I have to find ways around it. And that's exactly what I'm gonna do. So, my second career option was aerospace engineering. So that is what I'm gonna be doing.
Let's go.
Probably at like Boeing or Lockheed Martin, work on like the newest fighter jets or something. That'd be
How come you want to do that?
God, because I've been into aviation for like a long time.
Yeah, it's a little passion of
And
yours,
I can't
then.
be a pilot because you need 20/20 vision without correctal lenses.
And one of the chemos gave him cataracts.
Yeah.
So chemo and radiation.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna be able to do that. And then air traffic controller, you need to have like I think like a whole bunch of degrees and certifications.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. And as far as the vision,
it's so hard to be.
But as far as the vision, we don't know what's going to happen in the medical field 10 years from now. Maybe there's something that will help with the cataracts.
Yeah. And like the anxiety of causing an air crash is air traffic control. Yeah. Like I'm not trying to take that risk.
Yeah.
However, with aerospace engineering, I feel like that's perfect. You don't have to risk yourself you don't have to risk yourself, getting people, off or well, you kind of do, but like at a lesser
You have to
toll
be
than
responsible for her
Right.
building it.
but
Right.
like it's still pretty badass seeing like how the mechanics work and all of that on the aircraft.
Well, the thing about Jake also is that it's not one dream. He has many dreams, right?
Yeah.
You know, he loves
Exactly.
history. So
History
he always
professor.
said history professor. And,
Yeah.
you know, he loves the military and he loves our country. And there's so many other things that he could do that would support our country and our military without having to be enlisted. I mean, that's what he really would love, to be enlisted.
Politician has too
But
many risks,
maybe,
though.
well,
So that's why I don't.
but maybe there's
Wanna-
something that you can do that supports our
Yeah.
military and our for sure our country, right?
Provide weaponry
And
for the military.
but the military has rules and regulations
Yeah.
about having cancer. and
Yes,
having,
I remember the post.
yeah. So that's crushing, but still, right? Let's
I was
make
gonna be a
lemonade.
combat medic. I was gonna be a combat medic. Let's just say.
Okay, gotcha. You're gonna put people back together.
Yeah.
That's
in
what
the
he,
thick of it.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
epic.
personally not really phased by gore as much as my mom is. I'm not like there's this there's like this medical Instagram that I look at. It shows like the most vile injuries.
Med talk, yeah.
But I'm like I'm over here sitting on phase and she's over here like.
Well, I think I've gotten better with being. I call myself a momcologist.
Okay,
And
yeah.
I had to be in charge of administering medication through his port and giving him injections and giving him medicine. So I've had to find strength, you know. But yeah, prior to him having cancer, I would literally feel weak at the sight of blood. And
Okay.
I've transformed.
I'd like look.
Yeah,
look
I've
when they
transformed so much. I'm so proud of myself. I do have to admit that when they were doing the bone marrow transplant, his brother had a device. He almost looked like Frankenstein. Have you seen the smoothie straws that are thick?
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay, so that was in Justin's neck, and then oh my gosh, and then he had the stitches. So you know, and then it's bandaged. So as long as I didn't see it, I was okay. I knew what was there, but when it was time to remove it, Justin said, "I want my mom here." I was with Jake, and so they pulled me from Jake's room, and I was like, "Oh my gosh." My legs were shaking just walking to the room. And the room was right next door, Jake. And I felt like I was walking a mile. So I finally made it. I gave him my hand and I'm trying to look away. But it was hard to look at when the doctor pulls it out. It's a catheter that's so, well, yeah, because I needed to, to make sure everything was okay. And I didn't wanna not look. And then Justin is afraid because I'm afraid, so I had to fake it.
Maintain a little bit of stoicism in the moment.
And I've done that with him too. There's moments where, they may have missed the port and I'll hold on to his hand and I'm like, "You're doing such a great job," but my legs are shaking.
And I'm screaming, ah.
When I tell you that these children that are going through cancer are so strong and so resilient, because I know myself, I don't know that I could go through that like that. And I've talked to other adults and they're like, "What?" So these kids are incredible. And to circle back to what we were discussing with him being, he said that it's matured him. It is so true. Yeah. And you speak to any of these kids and their level of maturity is through the roof.
Oh, I can only imagine.
It's a forced maturity.
Right.
But I feel that
you grow up quickly.
Yeah, you do grow up quickly.
You have to.
You miss out on, childhood cancer robs you of so many experiences that you should have as a child. But if we're going to pick and choose, right, the good that comes out of it, he says that sometimes I'm overly positive and it's too much on him.
It is training.
But
I don't know how he manages.
And I read something on being, what is it called? What is that called? Fake positivity or something like that. Yeah. But anyway, I don't care. He leads me into being positive, and so I stay positive.
I'm more laid back. I'm more chill. And she's really outgoing.
Yeah. And so if I had to pick something positive, is the fact that it's made him grown and it's made him be so mature.
Yeah.
Which is excellent. Last week I accidentally signed him up for it's a Lego Zoom meeting. It's a social thing that they have for cancer patients.
Yep.
Well, it's for 18 cancer patients, 18 through 45. And I signed him up. And do you know they didn't realize that he wasn't 18 until
Uh,
after the fact. And then they send me an email and they say, look, just so you know, we noticed that he's not 18, I guess, from the paperwork. But he was so mature through it all, the way that he's able to carry out a conversation and discuss things that maybe a typical 14-year-old can't discuss,
You need to read more when it comes to those.
So he definitely has matured. He's my little man. Not to say that he can't be immature at times, because he totally is. He's a
sure, you're
he's a
14.
14-year-old.
Oh, you have to be immature.
And when he's with his brother, oh my goodness gracious. They're both
siblings bring out the immaturity in each other.
Now more like can you please shut up, please?
Yeah.
Like when he's yelling, because we share a room, so when he's yelling on his Xbox, like, "Oh, do this!" When he's, oh my god, I cannot. So I'm like, can you please turn it down? And he's still yelling.
Yeah, they're great. But yeah, so cancer has brought about a maturity in Jake that's incredible. Still does not outweigh what it's robbed from him.
Of course,
so much more is robbed, but we try and focus on.
I mean, I'm practically like an adult now, because on my 14th birthday, I chose to sleep all day. Yay!
No, you didn't. Really?
No, I chose it. I wanted to.
Well, but that's another thing. Birthdays, celebrations, when you're immunocompromised, whether it's blood cancer or tumor cancer, when you're in treatment, you're immunocompromised. So there goes any type of socializing.
Yep.
Out the door. He couldn't go to. He loves going to Camp Fiesta in the summer, and it's an oncology camp, and he was unable to do that this time around. Despite that there's an oncologist and there's nurses there, it wouldn't have been safe because of the activities that they do. So, school, all of third grade, he was out of school. The second semester of eighth grade, he was out of school. So he missed out on the eighth grade field trip. He missed out on the eighth grade banquet.
I wanted to go to DC with my friends.
I bet you would want to go to DC. Yeah.
All the things that were robbed from him, the kayaking trip. I mean, till the very week of the kayaking trip, he was trying to convince one of the doctors, Dr. Warren, can I go? It's outdoors. And it just wouldn't.
Did you know it's outdoors?
Mm-hmm. And I can tell also that the doctor was struggling, because he's also involved with Sebastian Strong. And he knows, the importance of this trip.
Oscar insisted that I didn't go.
And then
I was just about to say that, like, no way Oscar would have let you.
No, for sure, no. Oscar's been keeping Jake super safe, and
we appreciate him for that.
Yeah,
of course,
for sure. But
one of a kind.
Like a third father.
Everything that is robbed from these kids, that we take for granted. Parents that have healthy kids, you take that for granted. They always say, I wasn't a cancer parent until I was, and then you realize, so being outside of this world, you can be empathetic, but when you're in it, I think that's when it strikes, and so our goal, both of us, is from the very beginning, from when he was 8. At the young age of 8, he says, "Mom, I wanna help. I wanna do more." On the 6th floor of our hospital, that's the oncology ward, and a friend of ours sent us a ton of masks, and this was pre-COVID.
Yep. Okay.
They were masks, with cute designs, and so Jake went room to room and would give it to the kids, and he would go give popsicles to the kids, and he just wanted to. He wanted to come out of his room and do more. And so how do we translate that outside of the hospital and everybody that's in the hospital? Events. Yeah. And so this is where we meet Oscar and Rose. And it was love at first sight. We always say we hate how we met you, but we're so happy that we met you. Sure. And now they can't get rid of us. And so any Sebastian,
we're stuck with them.
Any Sebastian Strong events, we are there.
Yep.
Whether it's fundraising or just raising awareness through our posts. I think, social media is huge. A great, it's a great platform to talk about childhood cancer. And Jake is such an open kid. I think maybe once he said, "Mom, don't post that." but for the most part, he lets me
It
post
was more of a political thing that I said not to post.
He lets me post the good and the bad, and because I think if you were to ask anyone, what is childhood cancer, they're gonna say bald, smiling, happy kids riding their tricycle down a hospital hall, because that's what is portrayed usually, right?
Sure.
They don't see.
You want to tell them about that ad from Super Bowl?
Yeah, we can talk about that. They don't see the terrible side. They don't see the screaming child getting tired of getting poked. They don't see the effects of chemotherapy. They don't see the after the bell. After the bell is really necessary to show and to highlight the fact that you're living with. He started having kidney function issues.
Didn't Sebastian ring the bell?
I'm sorry?
Didn't Sebastian ring the bell?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not over when the bell rings.
It's not over. It's definitely not over. Like I said,
it just marks the end of a milestone,
right?
Of a certain part of the treatment, like a chapter.
Mm-hmm.
So, but we need to bring awareness to this. We need to show everybody, and that's why I love his platform, and that he's 99.9% of the time he's so open to share things about treatment and about life.
Yeah, telling the truth is important, and a lot of this stuff you can't sugarcoat.
And so many.
I'm like very about it.
Mm-hmm.
Very, give it to you straight there.
And so many people have actually reached out and said, I had no idea, X, Y, and Z. I had no idea. So we're doing the best that we can to be, to shout out and, and let everybody know what it's like and why we need research, why we need to have better treatment options for these kids. They deserve more than this. They deserve, sure, they beat the disease, but now they're living with all of these secondary health issues, right?
Getting cancer again.
Getting cancer again being one of them.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
There's someone who survived cancer 5 times, which God bless them.
Yeah, that's outrageous.
But every time you're treated for cancer, your body is weakened every time. And there's also a threshold of chemo that you can receive, right? So for example, there's a chemotherapy called the Red Devil, doxorubicin. Jake hates that one. Jake has already reached that threshold. So God forbid if he were to have to take it again, they need to find something else. They need to figure out something else to give him to substitute that, because he cannot take that anymore. So there's so many limits with childhood cancer treatment, and it should not be that way. If adults can have multiple treatments and multiple combinations of treatments, so should kids.
Yeah,
no question.
I'm sure you could agree as an adult too. I'm sure most adults could agree.
And as a parent.
Yeah, as a parent, as an adult, and as someone who was inspired by Oscar and Rose and Sebastian's best friend Diego, hearing about the lack of treatment options and the lack of funding that goes into finding new treatment options, just kind of leaves you gobsmacked. What? This is real?
Yeah.
And
how is Diego?
How is he?
Yeah,
he's good. His wedding's coming up in
tell him I said congratulations.
I will. It comes up in a month, and him and his fiance just got a new house not too long ago. I just talked to his fiance Lauren the other day, and both of them about a month ago. And
I remember her.
Yeah. Yes.
Congratulations, you two, if you ever see this.
Yeah, they'll see it. I have no doubt.
Congratulations, Diego and Lauren.
Yes, for sure. Actually, I told them. I told Lauren that I was doing this with you guys, so they know. They know we're talking.
Sweet. Yeah, for sure. As you were saying.
What was I saying? Oh yeah, just
about treatment. How Diego was telling you that it's very limited with treatment.
Yeah, it's very limited. So when he, just threw the paddle, he gave me a call, and he had kind of told me what that organization was about. But Diego's such a great guy, and kind of gave me some of the facts. He called me when he was on the water paddling. He's like, yeah, hey, this is why I'm doing this. I know I've told you, but here's some of the facts. And, you know, when
Yeah.
I'm out here on the water, I'm just thinking about life and thinking about people that matter to me. And I just wanted to give you a call and just let you know that I'm thinking about
Oh,
you. And I decided right then and there when he called me, I was like, I'm doing this.
and
And
that's what propelled you to do it. And we are so grateful.
Heck yeah, brother.
We are so grateful for you and for you to
well,
continue to be a voice
well,
for families like ours.
Yeah.
I, uh,
You know,
I, I appreciate that, but just I think Diego gets a lot of people who say
mm,
that they're going to do it, and I think they mean it when they tell him
yeah.
in the moment. But um, I I was just inspired by him and inspired by Sebastian, and then I got to meet. I don't know if you remember us meeting Jake, but I got to meet you at the end of the
Very much.
2024 paddle briefly, and one of the things I remember about you, this is funny because it just reminded me of me and my friends. But when we were on, it was the day after the last paddle on the Saturday, and we were at the pool, and you were pretending to use a sniper rifle for whatever reason, just while you were playing around. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is
Storming the
exactly
beaches.
what's that?
Storming the beaches
That's
like it's
right. It just
1984.
reminded me of me and my friends, and especially since we have the same namesake, I was like, awesome.
Yeah.
This is so cool.
Pure
Um,
cinema.
what's that?
Pure cinema.
Yes, pure cinema. One of the things I wanted to ask you about, Jake, is you had mentioned you know love of the military, love of country, and love of history. Where does that come from? Why do you like those things?
Initially, it all sparked with my brother, actually. So
Okay.
I'm not sure mom knew this, but Justin actually introduced me to the Civil War. He's
Okay.
gotten me like out of history, but
Uh-huh.
I've gotten more into
It's
it.
not that he's gotten out of it, he's just not as into it as you.
Yeah,
Jake
Mm,
is.
yeah, but
Yeah.
now I know more than him.
Mhm. And also on his father's side,
Yeah, lots
grandpa
of veterans,
served.
lots of veterans.
Yeah, his uncle
gotcha.
served, his dad served.
Military family
Hmm.
on my dad's side.
Gotcha.
So yeah, dad was a Marine, grandpa was Air Force. My cousin was also Air Force.
Okay.
Yeah, all that stuff. It's cool.
So what do you think about it draws you in though?
Um, God, that's really hard. A lot of stuff. The tactics that they use, the social customs, the like proper manners at the time.
Okay.
Like it was okay to eat with your hands in the Middle Ages. Now I was seeing
Oh
it.
my gosh, Jake.
Royalty did that.
Uh-huh.
Um,
So you're just
for,
genuinely interested just about the past, like it just makes you curious.
yeah, just
I
yeah,
always,
the
I always,
emperors, the military.
I always say that Jake was born in the wrong era. I swear, if we're watching something, a time period piece or anything,
Wrong. That's wrong.
he just transforms and he knows so much, and he'll look at me. He's like, "What? You didn't know this?" And I'm like, "No." And he makes me feel so uneducated in terms of history, like the things that he
The term is
knows.
dumb.
It's it baffles me, on our way to clinic. So we have a really long commute to clinic.
Okay.
It takes about an hour and a half an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours, depending on traffic. Not because we live so far, but because of the traffic. Um, and a lot of times they'll be saying things on the radio, you know, trivia questions, and he knows it, and he looks at me and he's like baffled that I don't know it, but
Mm.
he's an encyclopedia. Yeah, like that. He's an encyclopedia, he's so well versed when it
Yeah.
comes to
And
history,
I'm
and
actually
yeah, he loves
looking
it.
when I'm 18 to get into Buher. It's like full. It's like full contact armored fighting.
I didn't know that
So
existed, but it's
it
a thing.
exists. It exists.
So it's like the UFC for armored fighting?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so then you could go in teams or like in duels, and then basically use like real weapons, but they're dull.
Aren't they rubber?
No, they're
Oh.
metal, but they're dull. And then you have full armor. Like everything's covered though. They have regulations for it, so you can't
So
get hurt.
cool.
Well, you can, but like it's hard to get hurt. And then you just fight, and then whoever's on the floor first loses.
Let's go. That
Yeah,
awesome.
I'm looking to like use the poleaxe, the halberd.
Oh yes. Okay, gotcha. Yep.
That's my favorite medieval weapon.
Why?
I just like the long range aspect of it, like
Okay.
the spear,
You could
and
jab or
axe
hack at long
both.
range.
Yeah,
Okay.
If
Very
you could
cool.
teletransport to a time period, where would you go?
Yes.
surprisingly not the Middle Ages because
Okay.
plague.
Yeah. It
You
would
have the
be
chance
generally
to
terrible to be there.
you have the chance to be a peasant. If I was royalty, then sure I'd like to go. But like plague,
So where would
Skip.
you go?
easily accused of witchcraft and sorcery
Yeah.
because that was a big thing at the time.
Yep.
Um, New World colonization, just a bunch of diseases from the New World. So
Yep.
nope,
Okay.
not that either.
So where would you go?
I'd probably want to go. Probably mid to late 1800s to late 1900s, or not late 1900s, but like
Early.
late 1930s.
Okay.
Anywhere between that time frame.
So
And
like,
where?
And where? Europe.
Europe.
That's
oh,
where
okay.
that's where pretty much most of the history happened. There's some in Asia, but not really into like Asian history as much as European history.
Sure.
But
Sure.
but like the Mongols, they really do captivate me, and like
Yeah, Mongols are crazy.
yeah, the battle of Peking in Beijing, China, where it's
Okay.
like
Yep.
all the nations against the dynasty and the Boxer Rebellion. Pretty cool stuff.
Nice. Okay. Wow. Dang.
How
Maybe
about you, Jake?
How about you, Drake?
where would I go if I could go anywhere and any when? I've been asked this question before. Um, I don't know. I'd probably just want to be there in the heat of it, just as an observer, not.
Hmm.
But during the Revolutionary War, I read a
Mhm.
book um called The American Revolution, which when I bought it, I thought it was going to be about like the battles that happened,
Like
and
we told, yeah.
but it was actually about the perspective of the colonists and them sort of breaking up in their minds psychologically from the British and then becoming American. And it was like, so it wasn't even about the battles, it was just sort of the mindset shift of the colonists at the
Mhm.
time. And
And like the political aspects, right?
yes, right, exactly. And so that sort of blooming of the American spirit, I think would be cool to be around for. So
Yeah.
that's my answer. And then I watched a PBS show growing up called Liberty Kids that was set during that
I
time. And
watched that.
You
did
watch
you?
it?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet, yeah. So that had a big influence on me as a kid, where I just thought that time period overall was pretty
Yeah.
cool.
I know it's sick.
I love it.
As long as you don't get disease at that time, then you're
Yeah,
good.
I'm actually reading a book called The Rise of Theodore
Oh.
Roosevelt.
Hmm.
And one of the things that I thought has been cool so far is he seemed to enjoy just having fun talking, which I like to put fun emphasis on words. And so apparently, when someone said something that he liked, he would say, "Oh, I'm delighted," and he would emphasize the D. And so I've been
Uh-huh.
saying that in my
Yeah.
head a lot. "Oh, I'm delighted."
Delighted.
Emphasize the words, basically.
Yes, exactly. So that's been cool. Um,
I'm
we
perplexed.
perplexed. I'm perplexed.
Mhm.
Uh, one of the things I did want to make sure we talked about, we kind of got the story going up
Yeah.
until the um, bone marrow transplant,
Mm.
but I want to hear both your perspectives on, Jake, you had mentioned, it wasn't looking good, and then your brother was able to step in and, like you said, quite
That
literally
saved my life.
save your life.
I was on the brink of death, and then he came and saved me. So
So,
I can't win an argument anymore with him. He has to win. I have to yield. Is he
hangs that over your head. Yeah,
honestly I'm grateful though? I wouldn't have it any other way.
you'll just have to like save him from falling off a bridge or something, and then you'll be even.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I owe my life.
You owe him.
So
So you're facing that reality. What's your mindset? What are you thinking about? Like are you thinking I'm just done? Like I'm cooked? Like what? How are you facing that?
I'm thinking that I'm not as cooked as before, actually. In fact, I
When
have
you
more.
learned about the bone marrow transplant?
Oh, when I learned about it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I thought I was done for. I thought that, okay. Until they told me I have a 90% success rate, I was like, oh, I'm gonna die. I'm done. I'm toast. I was already writing death wishes in my notes, like, if I
Stop.
die, I want this to
He
happen.
was, and I found it on his phone, and
Oh,
I
mom.
yeah. Yeah, I looked through his phone and I found it. I actually have a screenshot of it. And I said, I can't believe Jake. He said, if I die, I want my ashes spread.
Yeah,
Um,
on the
where did you?
Appalachian
Yeah,
Mountains, on the
yeah. And I'm
Appalachian
like, oh
Mountains.
my gosh, talk about gut wrenching. I stumbled up. I wasn't like snooping on his phone. It just so happened to be open, and he falls asleep on the phone
Yeah,
and everything. And when he's in treatment, he falls asleep hard. And so I take, laptop off of him, his phone off of him, the cables off of him,
Hmm.
headphones. And so it happened to be there. And when I read it, I was like, it was so hard to go to sleep that night because I'm thinking, why is my 14-year-old saying this? It was difficult
it would be useful though if I
to see
actually
that.
did.
Yeah,
You
but
know,
still, it's hard for a parent to read that.
yeah.
Yeah, of
So
course.
I already
definitely,
had death wishes written. A
definitely
bit
harsh.
dramatic, but I
I
I
don't know
wanted
if that's dramatic. I mean, it's kind of like a will and testimony. You want.
Not dramatic, just not expected from a child, I guess, and for me to
Yeah.
stumble across it,
I
it
actually
was it
had
was rough.
I wanted to lighten it a bit, so I had on the notes where I added that. I also added as a death wish at my funeral. I want my friend Robin to wear a
Oh
bright
yeah,
dress. I want my friend Robin to wear a bright dress, just
yeah.
a brightly
In
colored.
Jake fashion, he had to make it comedic,
Yeah,
but
Unreal.
still rough to read. But I think,
yeah.
when they describe the bone marrow transplant, any part of the journey is scary.
Yeah.
Any part of the journey. And his doctors have been really good at delivering news to us, especially I think because they know that
There was
both,
one doctor that
no.
yeah, wasn't so.
Um,
I have
that,
good news and bad news.
yeah, that was,
Mm.
I think, maybe an oversight. Maybe she wasn't familiar with
Yeah,
us. She was on call and maybe didn't look at the notes. And yeah, and so that left us shocked. But back to the bone marrow, you asked us about how we felt at that point.
Yeah. Right
And
before you knew Justin was a match, like
right before, yeah,
yeah.
right before.
it's like doom and
eh,
gloom.
I honestly I was like, okay, do it, because I
well,
was like,
yeah,
yeah, I was like, okay, do it. If I'm gonna live, do it.
yeah. And for me, I was hopeful because one thing I try not to lose during the whole battle is hope. I
Me,
always,
you
you,
try not to lose me.
well, yeah, yes, but I
Oh,
mean, yes, you're
certainly.
tangible. I don't want to lose you, but
Certainly.
hope, right? No matter
Yeah,
how hard things are to swallow,
mm,
how news is delivered, I always try to find hope. One thing I failed to mention is that during this journey, they do DNA testing on Jake and discover that he has a very, very, very rare mutation called the CHEK2 mutation. And CHEK2 mutation, the way that it's the teacher in me, how I have to make it an analogy or something like that. But so in a healthy body, you have healthy cells that I call them bouncers, right? Like bouncers at a club.
Hmm.
And so if there's a shady cell that needs to get in the club, they tell them, no, don't come in. Well, because of Jake's mutation, these bouncers
yeah.
are sleepy. I'm
No,
like,
no,
Jake,
no.
this is how I was this.
They're more so like everyone welcome,
Yeah.
everyone welcome.
So when I first heard of the mutation, and I knew that when we were going to clinic, the doctor was going to speak to him. Here's teacher mom saying, think of your body like a nightclub. And he's like, what? And he's so mature, but it's just how I like to deliver the
I
news.
mean,
So
she's an
it's
elementary school teacher,
so it's a little more gentle rather than
Sure.
you have these cells that are just letting all the riffraff in. So I said, your bouncers are a little sleepy, Jake, and so the bad cells are coming into the club. And
I
he's
was
just
confused.
looking at me like, what? But yeah, so here's something else that we have to fight against, right? So here he has this mutation in his body, which
What do I have still have it?
hopefully, right? So I asked, one of my
Yeah.
questions was, okay, once he gets, he's wiped out and he gets his new bone marrow, what happens with this CHEK2 mutation. So it could still stay in some of the tissue. We'll do further testing. And if that happens, what they'll do is they'll just screen earlier. So I believe for a colonoscopy for a male, the screening age is 45 or 50. With Jake, it would happen at 30.
Yeah.
So you just have to do preventative care. You just have to
Smart.
be on top of the screening and the testing.
Are you sedated for colonoscopy?
Yes,
Yes.
sedated.
Okay, thank God.
You are, and it's so fast. I just had my first one, not so long ago, the other day. So what that means is we just have to screen earlier. But because he's had cancer in the past, that's going to be part of protocol anyway.
Right.
You have more frequent early screenings for the rest of his life. And this is what a lot of people fail to see, that when you are a child with cancer, but had cancer, the rest of your life looks different. Your adult life is going to be different. Jake has to see a cardiologist every year because of the doxorubicin, which messes with your heart. Thankfully, his heart has been healthy, right? But we monitor it every year. He has to go see the cardiologist. Life is going to look different for Jake moving forward, different from another 14-year-old's life. And so these are the things that people, outside of this world don't think about. Childhood cancer is, the journey is permanent. It's not until we ring the bell. And so I think we need to bring a lot of awareness to, yes, for sure, during treatment, but also outside of treatment.
Yeah.
Life has dealt you both a bunch of BS, right?
Yeah.
Either fair, not fair, random, whatever you want to call it. You've had to deal with it. How do you combat being bitter? Because I think it'd be really easy for you just to be like, screw all this, screw everyone.
Yeah.
Life sucks. This is not fair. How do you keep that at bay?
For sure. So for me, as a mom, I'm going to tell you, I allow myself to be bitter.
Mm-hmm.
I allow myself that moment, because it's okay to be angry, because, he says that I'm always positive, but it's because he doesn't see the moments that I'm like super upset. And I allow myself that. It usually happens in the shower or when I'm driving somewhere without the kids.
The alone time.
Because although I tend to be an honest parent, I've always been super honest with them. I don't necessarily want them to see me losing it, crashing out, how they say.
Yeah, you want to be a rock.
You want to be a rock. Although Jake has seen me crying.
Oh, fair enough.
He doesn't allow me to use that type of vocabulary. He's like, you can't use that.
Use your old lingo.
Okay, so, I don't like for them to see me, especially my 9-year-old. My 9-year-old, if she sees me cry, she starts to cry.
Right.
But I allow myself my moments of anger. I absolutely do. And then I move past them. I put them in the back of my mind, and I focus on, okay, what can I do moving forward? Right? Back to what Dr. Cotto says, you can't worry so much about things that are out of your hands, things you can't control. Let's put our energy into things that we can control. What can we control? We can control talking to people about our story. We can control, showing people what this world is like, and having them care and having them, sure, monetary donation is what we need, right?
Yep.
Because we have to pay for research. But just the fact that they can have something to talk about, if it's somebody that can contribute, that's okay. But empathize with us and then pass it on.
Yeah.
Pass it on, right? We wanna shout. We want it to be higher than a whisper. And the same, Oscar says, the same way that the pink ribbon is recognizable, we want the gold ribbon to be recognizable too. You walk into, right now, Walmart has breast cancer awareness shirts out, and it's a month early, and people know, they recognize the pink ribbon. We want that same recognition and that same force,
Well, I think
to be true for childhood cancer.
I think another aspect of that is that the yellow ribbons also, or yellow and gold ribbon, is also considered like soldiers coming home.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But still, there's space to have multiple reasons for the gold, right?
Yeah.
And we want the gold ribbon to be recognizable as well for childhood cancer awareness. And now we have another color added to our repertoire, because the green is for bone marrow and the orange is for leukemia. So,
Okay.
there's a lot of representation.
Yes.
Green is my favorite color.
Yeah, green is your
Green
favorite
is an
color.
awesome color.
Yeah. So, but we want childhood cancer to be recognized, and we want people to fight for our kids, because it's not right. What's happening is not right. That we're limited to, to minimal treatments, and treatments that are so incredibly harsh. A former student of mine just a few weeks ago was diagnosed, and just to put things into perspective, his mom, I love this family, and anytime we've had a fundraiser, she'll contribute. And in speaking to her, she said, I never thought this could happen to us. And that's just it. You never, because it's so rare,
Right.
and you never think that it can happen to you.
And now they could be a voice.
And now, but they were a voice. But you see what I'm saying about awareness? Like, she knew, because she follows Jake's story and she follows my personal Instagram, and it's now part of me. If you know me, you know that I love coffee, cats, and childhood cancer awareness.
Yep.
Those are
the 3C.
The 3
Lives off
Cs.
coffee and cats. By the way.
Those are that's, if you know Marisel, those are my things. I'm never gonna shut up about childhood cancer awareness ever.
You're never gonna shut up about cats.
That's true. but still, that's my passion.
Yeah.
That's my passion. And at school where I work, we started, the month of September is now Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, and so the hallways
There's actually a proclamation for it in the city of Pembroke Pines.
So the hallways are gold, and the kids wear, their gold in support of fighters, and in honor of angels, and so every Friday they go dressed in their gold shirts, or their Childhood Cancer Awareness shirts. And so these kids are going to come home and talk to their parents about it, and that's how we spread awareness.
Yeah.
So a lot of people I've come across lifelong friends that I feel, and not in an intentional way, but I feel have hidden during this fight, maybe because they don't know what to say, or maybe because they feel some kind of way that they can't contribute. And it's not about monetary contribution. Yes, that's important, but it's more, we need your voice.
Yeah.
There were a lot of friends actually that I had not talked to in years that have come forward during Jake's battles, and have been so amazing, just sharing a post, or, just saying, listen, I'm thinking about you, and wow, I didn't know that this was like this. So just, spreading awareness. That's what's going to get us the funding that we need, and the research that we need.
So what was the question again? Because you explained your side already.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
How do you keep from getting bitter?
Oh, yeah. For me, it's a shift in perspective, right? I'm rarely like mad or angry or like sad, I'm rarely bitter, and that's because I think what is there to be mad about or sad about when I literally overcome the impossible twice, by the way. What is there to be like? Because you have like, no offense son, but like people being depressed of like, oh, my girlfriend broke up with me, I'm gonna be like this for the rest of my life. But you're over here with me, not depressed a bit, well, maybe a little, but not a lot. And yet I challenged death twice and won.
Yeah,
I challenged death twice and won.
That's a conversation I've had with others as well. Not to undermine why you're upset.
Of course.
It's terrible that you have a flat tire, but you want to talk about problems, go visit a pediatric oncology clinic or hospital.
Come talk to me. I dodged death twice.
It really, it
looked death in the eyes
it
twice.
Puts things into
and said, nope, not today.
Puts things into perspective. So things that you'd get upset about or bitter about, now it's like,
Can it sometimes be tough to hear people complain about stuff?
Yeah.
I can imagine.
Yeah, but you want to be sympathetic and you want to be a good friend, but you're like, little violin. little violin.
Yeah.
Because it's in comparison to what the reason we have to be bitter, and yet we choose to.
It's a choice.
Like I said before, there's times when, this sucks, right? And I think it's the Marines that say embrace the suck.
Yeah.
And you embrace it and then you move forward.
Yeah.
and you just try your best to be positive and see the silver lining in a terrible situation.
There's
in
this
a
one
terrible
quote I live by, and it's by Sun Tzu. It's actually on our
on your
shirt with the merch. If you know yourself and the enemy, fear not the result of 100 battles, or something like that. The enemy being your psychological self, your
Yep.
bad feelings, and then the ally being you, yourself, your friends. If you know yourself and the enemy, fear not the result of 100 battles. So like, know how to cope with it,
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Are there any pet peeves that either of you have when people, are there any things that people say with regards to like, maybe they think they're saying something supportive, but it's like, ugh, that kind of grinds my gears when you say that?
I think
Wow.
I'm the one that could speak on that.
Yeah,
Because
no,
Jake
me
is
too.
like, can you? Because Jake is like, whatever.
Yeah, well, I don't really care when someone like jokes about cancer, as long as they're like a close friend, like
Sure.
as long as they're like, if someone random comes up to me and jokes about like, oh, you're bald, I'm gonna get pissed.
Fair enough.
But like if it's a friend, I don't really care. Like, you could do that because
And
I
maybe
know
you
you.
know
I know you're. I know you don't mean it. So
Sure.
yeah, and like especially if they've been there with me the whole time, like checking up on me, then yeah, they get the pass from me, of course.
And I want to preface this by saying that I know that people don't have bad intentions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll let her speak first.
But something that really grinds my gears is when somebody says, there's a purpose for this.
Yep, I was waiting for it.
Yeah, there's
God,
a purpose.
no.
Jake has a purpose, and so he has to go through this.
It's God's plan.
There's in my mind, there is zero purpose for him to suffer the way that he continues to suffer.
Yep.
There's no,
Actually,
or if they compare, or they'll say like now with leukemia, especially, well, like he said, they told him it's a 90% survival rate, right? So they're like, well, at least it's not the bad cancer. Every cancer is a bad cancer.
Oh yeah, wow.
At least it's not, thank goodness it's not, the sarcoma again, or thank goodness no, every cancer is a bad cancer, regardless of survival rate. You don't want your child to be sick. And, treatments are harsh. And so every cancer is bad. I get, that there's stagings of cancer and there's cancers that have no cure. So again, I know that what they're saying, they don't mean it with.
They're like, look on the bright side, basically.
Look on the bright side, but there's different ways of saying it, But yeah, definitely there's a purpose.
I get the point they're trying to make.
There's a purpose. Like for me, I see my son, and I see, of course, having cancer has made him be more empathetic and compassionate. Yeah. But he's always been like that. He's always been prior to his cancer. As a matter of fact, on one of our drives to clinic where, he was 8 and he really didn't understand the whole, cancer. He saw there's a lot of homeless people there. And he's like, Mom, I want to do something. Can we bring them food? So I know that compassion is there. I don't need him to have cancer to want to help. Look at you helping, Jake. Thankfully, cancer has not directly impacted you, and I hope that that's the case always. But you found the compassion to help. So when somebody says, the purpose for Jake to have cancer is so he can be an oncologist, no, he could have been an oncologist without it. He could have been.
I know Elia had. I could have found out about cancer from her. From Elia.
Yeah, he had a friend that had cancer just a few months before him, and that's a great point because she was a student at our school, so he knew one of my friends has cancer, and that I'll tell you that really was. Of course, I knew about childhood cancer, but when it hit close to home was when a teacher friend of mine's daughter was diagnosed. I said, "Oh my God." And it really, I think that's what got it started, and so you don't necessarily have to have cancer for you to have a purpose, to help and to.
Yeah, I would have been advocating without cancer because Elia. I would have been. Shout out to her.
Shout out Elia.
Shout out to Elia. She's doing amazing.
Let's go.
I might not have got it in a deeper level, but. Like, I would have still tried to advocate the best I could.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I know that was a big trigger for Rose when
yeah.
people would say that. Like, excuse me.
Yeah, there's no purpose.
Yeah.
Okay. So a trigger for me, what people ask, it's not necessarily like you're wrong about this, like, oh, that's demoralizing. Oh, it's more so like, are you serious?
Mhm.
And it's like, what they ask is, oh, you had leukemia. What stage? It's like something like,
But because but they don't
yeah, I
know.
know
But
they don't know, but like,
the leukemia is not.
yeah, it doesn't have stages. It's a blood cancer, so it's a blood cancer. Blood cancers don't have stages. It's all around the body automatically.
Immediately, right,
But,
right, exactly.
yeah, I just don't.
But that's
like
lack
explain
of
it to
just
them.
yeah.
That's just lack of knowledge. I don't.
But we wouldn't
yeah.
necessarily know it unless we were in this. So that I
Yeah.
think is an innocent mistake.
Yeah. But like, I
Tough
just
to
can't
hear.
help it. A slight annoyance from it,
Yeah. Oh, for
minor.
sure.
But I think something that has been super helpful for Jake is that Jake has a very mature and dark humor. And through all of this...
If I maybe excuse me, take that break.
He needs to take a break.
That's right.
But, through all of this, I think that has been very helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Because he is wise beyond his years for sure. And something special that we've done, even when he was 8, pick a show that I wouldn't normally let you watch, and when he was 8, he chose Stranger Things.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's a nice treat.
Yeah. And so this time around he chose Breaking Bad.
Okay.
And so that's what we watched during treatment in the hospital,
Mm-hmm.
And so I think he's just, he's so mature and he's so open to dark humor that he takes it lightly.
Walter.
Walk
away, Walter.
And with me, I've learned not to be offended. I've learned that people don't.
I'm just naturally not easily offended.
People
Good thing to be.
don't mean it. Now how these are people that we know.
Sure.
But then there's people that are bullies, cyber bullies, and we've gotten.
Yeah, you just went through something with that.
Oh, we just went through not death threats, but we've gotten some real nasty messages, more aimed at me as a parent, that I'm irresponsible for giving him chemo, that I'm the one that's killing him.
Vitamin patches.
Yeah.
That's what they recommend.
Yeah, they told us to take him off of chemo, and because the chemo's killing him, and put him on vitamin patches. That's what's going to save him, and that I'm a terrible mom for allowing him to have chemo. I mean, how can you say this to a parent that's already feeling fragile?
And chemo saved me the first time, so.
And
right.
Yeah, so.
We got to use what's available.
I haven't even been through it.
And then more recently, they cloned Jake's Instagram account and his brother's account and started messaging people and saying that we needed donations. And anytime we've asked for donations, we put the link there, and it's never like we never go and private message people. We just put it on our stories, or
of course.
But these people were doing that. Put a picture of Jake, cloned his account. There was just like one symbol that was off.
Yeah, it was an underscore instead of a period.
And then thankfully, one of our followers reached out to me, and immediately we started reporting it. And I know one of the accounts was banned. I don't know about the other one, but
it was someone made Justin's account.
Yeah, your brother's. But how terrible is somebody would take advantage of this situation?
Cruel.
Didn't it happen to other families?
Yes, and then some other families messaged me and said, "Oh my goodness, the same thing happened to us." I can't believe that people would be so insensitive.
Some bad actors out there.
We're gonna talk about that house cleaning service that I posted hate comments on our video. Remember, like your child got cancer because of you. You got tattoos.
Oh, yeah.
What?
No, somebody. It was a contractor. Or something.
Yeah, contractor.
I forgot about that. Yeah, they posted things on our page saying that I was the one that was.
You're feeding him chicken. That causes cancer.
The food I'm feeding him.
Unreal.
I mean, school food is kind of radioactive, so Chernobyl chicken.
That's funny. Yeah, well, I mean, those people are just doing you a favor by letting you know what kind of people they are right off the gate. Yeah, for sure.
They get blocked immediately.
Of course.
Honestly, I wouldn't be as chill with it as Mom. I would have posted about them immediately, which I did on my personal stories.
Sure.
But I would have like posted ridiculing them immediately. I'm not like block and forget like mom. I'm more so like attack first and then block.
Gotcha. Throw a
Yeah.
little punch. Um,
Yep. Throw a little punch back.
Marisol, what, you had, Jake, who had to fight cancer twice and, had to go through all these treatments. And then you had Justin, who came and saved the day. You've got, I'm sure your other kiddos are lovely. You've got
Yeah.
two heroes,
Mm-hmm.
using the word accurately, I think.
Thank you.
What's that like? I mean, to a certain degree,
Rolling with pride.
overwhelming, but
Yeah, it is.
I'm sure they are too.
It is.
I'm sure they're swollen with pride too.
You and Justin.
Yeah.
Justin feels. I feel that Justin now feels good that he had an active part
yeah,
in saving
right.
his
We can ask him when he
brothers,
gets
right. Yeah, we can ask him, because the siblings are kind of on the sidelines,
Right.
trying to live somewhat of a normal life.
Like,
And here
it's just different when you actually have a part.
Justin gets to step in and be a part of Jake's treatment.
Now he's a part of me,
a critical
literally.
part.
Critical.
He's quite literally a part of me now. So
Yeah.
quite literally, I could commit a crime and then it's his blood.
Yeah, they
left
joke
off.
about that.
Yeah, what kind of bond is that? I mean, to literally have part of your brother inside of you in a literal sense.
Quite literally.
So
He's like my new father.
So I feel immensely proud of both of the boys, and despite them being so different personality wise, they are very close. They
Good.
always have been. They always have been. I remember, I think he was in first grade and Justin was in kindergarten, and they tried out for the talent show, and Jake made it and Justin didn't. And Jake said, I'll give him my place. I want him to try out. And that was so sweet. I'll give him my spot in the talent show. And they've always been,
camaraderie.
Yeah. And I think
we had a love-hate relationship, I'd say.
I think the normal
mostly love
stuff.
Yeah.
But I think now they're closer than ever.
Even though he can be annoying.
Oh, well, that's
Most
what
of the time,
brothers do.
Of course.
Siblings.
But
I
you know,
still
I
ignore
wouldn't
my
have it
sister.
I wouldn't have it any other way. I love him being annoying.
Good.
He's the one that keeps me in line.
That's Justin.
That's
He
huge.
brings out my wild side a little bit.
Excellent.
But I'm very proud. And I feel so lucky that he was able to play such a critical role in Jake's health.
Yeah.
And that it was a 10 out of 10 match. That's just.
And to bring some humor into this, I told him that,
Please.
hey, you could attract women if you wanted to. Women love heroes. They love them. You can say,
saved my brother, no big deal.
The brother.
You know what? Yeah, no big deal. I saved my brother, kind of like. I kind of saved his life.
So when I was delivering the news to the family, before I even said anything, before I even asked, Justin said, Mom, I'll give him my bone marrow, which that was so touching. I mean, I wasn't even there yet at that part. And Justin immediately
he was
said,
already there.
I'll do it, from the beginning. And
pretty much
the process, the process is definitely scary, and he was fine. He was fine with it. Yeah.
Probably thinking about
which is not very Justin, because Justin is the type of kid that doesn't want, like at the doctors, he'll hide to not get the vaccine. And he was so brave through it all, from the beginning to the very moment of the transplant. Yeah.
He looked at a video beforehand and he thought it was gonna be like
oh, well, you guys were misinformed.
in the groin. He thought it was gonna be in the groin, so like I was like making jokes about it, like trying to scare him. I'm like, they're gonna do it in your groin. It'll hurt.
Oh Lord, that's too funny.
We like to do that. We like to joke around with that.
Good. I mean, I think humor is so important in life. Period.
That's what got me through it. Like even dark humor, that's what got me through it. Mom doesn't like to, do dark humor, but for me, it got me through it.
There's just some
dark humor about cancer.
Some that's just like,
For me, it's
Toes
not.
line.
I easily get offended. They're hilarious to me, but mom, on the other hand, parents typically just tend to be more sensitive than the actual patient themselves.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Especially if they're a kid.
Sure, I get it. I tend to toe the line with humor myself. So I get it. I tend to be more like you, Jake, where
Yeah.
I'm
For
kind of
me,
like,
I'm more open. I'm more
Must
open.
be a Jake thing.
yeah, must
Yeah.
be. Got to push the
I'm just
boundary
more
a bit.
open. Like joke about it if you want, as long as you're a close friend.
Of course.
As long as I know you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
There's some situational awareness that comes with all humor, of course.
Yeah.
And that's my concern, right? I swear I'd hold my breath whenever there was a nurse in the room, because when you're in the hospital, it's in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. It's a revolving door, right? Constantly. And I was always like holding my breath whenever Jake is online with his friends, the things that he would say, because not everybody gets it.
Yes, yes.
So that's more mine. Not that I didn't,
I laugh
care
at
for
dad
it,
jokes. I think my humor is more mature. I laugh at dad jokes.
Dad jokes. Okay, nice, nice. I've been trying to up my dad joke game the
Your
past
dad
couple of
jokes.
years. We're trying.
That's a key part of being a father. You have to have dad jokes.
Yes,
At the ready, anytime.
yes. Oh
At the ready.
gosh, I know. Well, that's the
Yeah.
thing. Someone asked me for a dad joke the other day, and I totally blanked. And I say them all the time, but they put me on the spotlight, and I was like, I don't
Yeah.
know.
You need to be able to. You need to be able to say them on the spotlight.
I agree. I got to get to that point. Luckily, my oldest is just a year and 9 months, and so I've got a little bit of time before she has memories, and so I can get better at it.
You also need to embarrass your kid when they get to school.
Oh, that'll be easy. That'll be easy.
Yeah.
That's easy. That's easy.
Or like a tutu to school or something while you're walking them in.
I'm a group fitness instructor, and there have been certain occasions where I have worn a tutu at work
That's awesome.
for a specific class. So actually, I don't have a tutu right now, but I had one in my trunk for a while, believe it or not.
Oh,
That's
wow.
awesome.
That's girl dad energy.
Yeah, it's big girl dad energy, for sure. For sure.
Your little girls tell you to wear makeup to work, you'll do it,
Yeah, we'll see. Depends.
Like The Rock. It's always hilarious to see The
Rock,
Rock.
yes.
So big and buff, and then he has his daughters doing his makeup and painting his nails. Super
like
cute.
big doll baby makeup on his
Yeah.
face.
It's always the big and buff guys that are like the sweetest people,
It's so cute.
Yeah, well, they're already jacked, so they're just like, I don't care.
Yeah.
People
sure.
know that I'm masculine.
Yeah, girl dads are intimidating.
What's day to day life looking like right now? What are we working through? What are the struggles?
Okay, the
Locked
struggles.
at home.
Yeah, being locked at home, not being able to interact with people in real life. I want to get out there, make new friends. I'm not antisocial. I'm pretty much the opposite. I'm a social butterfly.
Yeah. Jake's outings are clinic. We got permission to go to the movies under, it was they made sure
Two other families in the theater.
The movies, it had to be during the day when kids are at school and people are at work, that I'd wipe, everything down, that would be sanitized, masks, the whole nine. So it was under those conditions.
What did you see?
Hamilton.
Oh, it was that Hamilton. Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
No one was singing along. I was so depressed.
Nobody was there. Really, it was just us.
Yeah,
and
but
then
no one, not one. And I was like, nah.
Mm-hmm. So we did that. That was his first official outing post bone marrow transplant. And then the other day we went to City Hall, and that was just quick.
Yeah.
But
brief.
He's, I think Jake's day to day. It's nice in the sense that he's here at home and it's chill and he can do school. Like, I'm like, how awesome to be able to do school in your underwear if you want,
It gets boring though.
And have unlimited snacks and whatnot. But he really wants that face-to-face interaction. So that's his struggle. Yeah. The face-to-face interaction, the medication.
I get tired of like video calls or phone calls or like texting.
I bet.
The medications, when we were sent home, it was round the clock. I barely slept because I have to be his caregiver.
Right.
Because it's round the clock. I'm monitoring him, and now we have it. We're good now because we've clustered them. Yeah, we've clustered them, so it's not as frequent. Still the same amount, -1. that we weaned off of, but still the same amount. So a lot of medication. So that kind of sucks. But, he's much better about it now than he was when we first got home after bone marrow transplant.
Yeah.
I think really what he urges.
I'd always throw up when I was taking my
Yeah,
pills.
it was a lot. It's a lot. And I think now he's just accustomed to it. Another component is if he wants to be off of fluids, he has to drink the fluids because the kidneys are now working extra hard.
I was drinking 2 gallons last night.
Extra hard to filter all these medicines.
Mm.
Yeah, his water intake is amazing right now. It was really bad at first.
Mm-hmm.
It's a harder habit to get than people realize.
Mm-hmm.
Drinking that much water is crazy.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And so for a couple of weeks, I had to connect him to a line and give him fluids via IV. So we don't have to do that anymore because he's been doing good with his intake. So that's
awesome.
good.
Well done.
So I think every day is getting better. He's just anticipating, being able to not be isolated. Because that part is definitely difficult, just being home. There's times when I say, come with me to pick up your sister from school, and just the ride, it's a short ride, but just the ride, just being out of the house, and then he wants to go fly his drone, but he's photosensitive because of the medication, so he can't be out in the sun. So it's like another roadblock.
At night, there's a bunch of bugs out there. And then at night,
all the mosquitoes are waiting on Jake.
Right. Oh, true.
And I can't get bit by mosquitoes because they can carry diseases.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So there's so many, humps. But he's,
I pretty much can't be outside, so.
We're one day. I always tell him we're one day closer. We're one day closer.
That's right.
Every day that passes, we're one day closer. We're one day closer, and and before you know it, you'll be able to be out there and be at school, and and do your Savor Patrol on Thursday nights. We just have to wait. We can't hurry. We can't rush him building his immunity back up.
Right.
I wish we could rush it.
I bet you do.
Yeah. I wish we could.
And, looking forward to hopefully being cleared in November to go to the Sebastian Strong Gala.
Yep.
And being cleared for kayaking next spring.
God, I hope.
Yeah, for sure, Poppy. Yeah, for sure. So, we always have things that we're looking forward to. And, the anticipation sucks sometimes.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Is there anything that I didn't ask you about that you wanted to get off your chest or talk about, make sure people know about?
I have to think about that.
I have an observation that pediatric cancer is, includes teenagers.
Yes.
And I think, having been the mom of an 8-year-old with cancer and then now a teen with cancer, there's a need for more opportunities for them as teens, I think, as an outlet. So I'd love to see, organizations maybe create like the Lego meeting, the Zoom Lego meeting
for teens.
Mm-hmm.
Because, teens.
Because I got all the events you have to deal with little kids. Sometimes it gets exhausting.
Well, not only that, but you have to be very careful what you say to a child, to a little kid. You don't want to scare them.
Yeah, versus with teens, you could relate more,
Yeah, for sure.
Nobody can understand Jake as well as another teenager that's going through the same exact thing. While we can empathize, they understand each other. And it's like I tell Oscar and Rose, I said, thank God I have an amazing partner that hears me out. And when I have my crashing out sessions, he consoles me, but I feel more understood by Rose, by Oscar, by another parent that's been through this.
Personally, pretty much my whole Instagram fan base is either her colleagues, her past friends, or
parents.
Parents, yeah.
I think parents, yeah. But I'd like to see a space where teenagers.
I want to have a personal Instagram where
teenagers can speak out and be angry at cancer, because again, back to being bitter. It's okay to be bitter.
Wait, high school is a good place to do that.
Yeah, you can do something. Maybe create a club in high school.
This is true.
Cancer research club, different types of cancers.
Well, or a club of students that are willing to help and want to help, right? Because what are the chances of you having several childhood cancer survivors at high school. Maybe you're the only one. Maybe there's two. So, but
Yeah, it's really
creating
rare.
mm-hmm, creating a club where you guys do charitable things, that would be great. So yeah, it's a space that definitely I think is kind of blurred, a little bit with the teens with cancer. I think that they need to, they're children, yes, but at a different level.
Yeah, I was actually considering doing a political debate team in my high school.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
prepare people for their futures on, like, what party are they? I'm personally independent.
Cool.
I'm independent, but like political debate, learn how to debate respectfully.
Yes,
Yeah.
of course.
Because that's something that's
Learn how to
been lost.
respectfully disagree with people.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
You see a whole bunch of debates where they're just yelling at each other,
And you
saying,
feel like nothing's getting accomplished in the debate.
You don't like this, right?
Character attacking.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Like with Charlie Kirk, he got like insulted directly because of his beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
So no one has to be insulted directly because of their beliefs.
Sure.
Right. So like learn how to respectfully disagree, respectfully debate.
Yeah, I could be good at that.
Debates are more like throwing facts at each other, and
we're structuring the argument with the facts to see who comes out
like
more
explaining your side.
Yes.
Explaining your side. That's what debates are.
Yep.
And then you get the guarantee is you won't change their opinion, but you will probably
Maybe.
Other people.
Or it's not. I don't think it's so much about changing an opinion. It's about, take a peek at my perspective.
Yeah.
And respect it.
I'm personally open-minded.
Respect
I'm open-minded, so I listen to anyone's opinion. Left, right, up, down, side.
All the directions, north, south.
Diagonal.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. So
yeah, here as a household, we have different perspectives.
Yeah.
Even as little kids, Jake and Justin have been into politics and have taken sides, and their dad and I are different, but we've always been respectful.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is definitely the foundation that we want to instill.
I debated my dad multiple times, by the way.
That we want to instill. And so I think that would be great if you started something like that in high school.
That'd be awesome.
I think that'd be great.
Yeah. And then that Pfizer ad that we were going to talk about.
So Jake wanted to discuss the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Had an ad. It was for Pfizer.
With Travis Kelce?
I'm sorry?
The ad with Travis Kelce?
Was it with?
No. It was with the little kid.
It was with the little kid fighting cancer.
Okay.
And when it aired, but look, you have hair now, so.
But when when you ring the bell.
When it aired, we were like, it was portrayed not the way that childhood cancer really is.
Mm.
It was glorifying it, basically.
And so the vision, I think, that outsiders, and when I say outsiders, I mean anybody that's not battling childhood cancer has on cancer is incorrect because of ads like this.
Yeah, this one was like a kid with boxing gloves,
he
skipping down the hallway, super energetic, like buzz cut, like my hair kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Except that's not how it would be like at the end of treatment. You'd be completely bald.
You'd be low energy.
St. Jude has good ads.
St. Jude's, yeah. Well, good ads. How?
Well, it underlines the.
Well, but I think also St. Jude's, if you go and you look at their ads, it's
also happy kids.
It's testimony, but it's happy kids. And while we don't want to discourage showing the happy moments in such a nightmare, because there are happy moments, right? We also want to be transparent about the sleepless nights, how sick chemo makes you, how traumatizing it is to get your port accessed. When Jake was 8 years old, the first few times, it took about 2 hours to get his port access because it was so traumatizing to see this needle that they're going to stick in your chest.
Personally,
it was really, we tried everything with him. We tried the VR headsets. We tried the child life specialist there, and it got really challenging. And then, when he was a few months in, he would just, perk up and put out his chest, and they were able to access him just like they are now.
Personally,
But it's
if I had the money, I would definitely put out an ad like, but that's dark, like put out a dark ad showing like the dark side of child. I feel like that would touch more hearts than a happy child. I feel like that would like probably moments of child screaming, like screaming or crying, and then like
a little bit of a wake up call for folks.
for a wake
vomiting,
up call.
like make it
Real.
Make it traumatic, Make it.
I wouldn't say traumatic, but real. Like, a look at what it's like, and then also, an ad geared to what's life like after you ring the bell. That's
I was gonna say that.
So important, because I think
especially for teens, because I'd pull more on heartstrings.
The majority of the population thinks that's it. Treatment's over. Yeah,
you got it.
And there's no
show the
there's no
post clinic visits. Show the clinic visits. Show the social aspect. Show people getting assaulted for their hair. Because that happens. People get insulted for being bald.
Kids making fun of kids. Yeah, that's huge. Also, thankfully we've had very kind people. With us.
Thank God I haven't got bullied for it yet.
Yeah, but it does happen. It does happen. But yeah, I think that's about it, right? That you want to discuss. Anything else?
Stay cool.
Stay cool. Is that what you said?
Yeah. And our gratitude, Jake, for people like you, who help us spread awareness, who have been so kind, who are invested in our story. We thank you for here you are, brand new daddy, and you've taken this time to share with us, and we're
by the way, again, congratulations for your child.
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
God bless you and your family.
Oh man,
you guys are lucky you don't have to go through this,
certainly,
like on the first-hand aspect,
of course,
like
right,
with the direct family.
Nah, yeah,
of course Sebastian was probably a big toll,
yeah. Well, I'm thankful every day. Just,
Yeah. You got to be lucky. You're lucky to be alive,
Definitely.
Many people dying all around the world, and you're here alive, You're here with the fortune of being able to speak to people, being able to carry on your legacy.
And health. Health is wealth. Yeah. If you have no health
is wealth.
Yeah. So we thank you so very much.
Everyone who's listening. Hopefully you take this as an opportunity to spread awareness.
Please spread.
Yes.
Please share.
Absolutely.
Socials. Plug your socials. Where can people follow your journey?
At Jake the Victorious Warrior, Instagram, all lowercase.
Yep. All lowercase. Well, I don't think it matters, the lowercase, but yes, at Jake the Victorious Warrior. And this is his Instagram since he was 8. When he was 8, we decided that we would share this journey.
And if you want to hear more her side of the story, Caffeinated Art Teacher, I think it is.
Caffeinated Art Teacher.
That's great.
That's me. And then Jake has an aviation IG.
Yeah, I have 2 IGs. Histo Aviator, I don't really post on that. That one's more for like viewing. And then I have Jake Does Photography, which is for drones. And RC planes.
Yeah.
So cool.
But I think the most important IG that you can follow is the Sebastian Strong Foundation IG.
Yes.
Them before anything.
Sebastian Strong.
Them.
Blessing to have that organization in the world, no doubt about that.
They're really. He's actually wearing a Sebastian Strong shirt right now. You want to show
and his and his hat. That's right.
We're all decked out. I've got. Let's see. Oh, it's in the laundry, but yeah.
Those shirts are comfortable. I like those.
These are comfortable. They're really nice. And they work. They keep the sun off your back and.
Yes.
Waterproof and all that. Well, we'll say goodbye real quick.
Looking like a highlighter, but you're good. Hey, you know what? It's spreading awareness. So
that's right. Hey, look at me. I'm shining. It lets people know they need to check it out and take a look. I appreciate you both so much for taking the time to do this. We'll say bye off the pod real quick, but thank you so much, and
thank you.
Peace out, everybody.
Thank you.
All right, see ya.
See ya. What's up, everybody? It's Jake here, Fowler and Friends. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Really means a lot to me and all of us over here at Fowler and Friends. So if you could please like, subscribe, comment, do all of that. But definitely subscribe, share the videos with your friends, and keep on supporting the channel. Thank you so much. We'll catch you on the next one. Later.